at, or anything else you want to write for that matter, but you can't reference any of the stuff from Lord of the Rings, or use any of the iconic Middle-earth art beyond what was published in 1937. For Superman, you can include the character in your stories, his origins from Krypton, as well as his dual life as Clark Kent, but the only powers that he can have are super strength, being faster than a speeding train, and the ability to leap tall buildings in a single bound. All of the stuff that he had when he debuted in 1938. No flight, no heat vision, no ice breath, no x-ray vision, all those things that make Superman a Superman. Mickey Mouse might be the character that's actually changed the most here though. The original Mickey from Steamboat Willie was exclusively black and white. He had a long tail, his eyes were just small pupils, he was a troublemaking boat pilot. Everything we associate with Mickey today, the red pants, the modern smiling face, the friendly personality, the edgy leather hoodie, all of that came later. And anyone trying to use that stuff starting next January when Steamboat Willie enters the public domain, they are sticking their fingers into a legal mousetrap. But even with all that aside, things are entering the public domain. It might just be slower than everyone expects. Over the next decade or so, we'll still be able to use some version of iconic characters like Winnie the Pooh and Gandalf and Superman and Mickey Mouse himself in all of our own stuff, just with a few limitations. And eventually we'll be able to use all of the iconic parts of these characters and their stories for ourselves, right? Well, in theory, in copyright theory. Yes, eventually. But you best hold on to your horses before you get too excited there, friendos. See, there's another side to this legal coin that I don't see anyone addressing. Well, the copyright that these companies hold for these older books and cartoons and comics are expiring soon. Their trademarks aren't and likely never will. Wait, I hear you asking, what's the difference between copyright and trademark? Well, trademarks and copyrights are very similar things, enough so that I wouldn't be surprised if you got them confused, but they have very different purposes. While a copyright's meant to protect someone's original creative work, like I explained above, a trademark is meant to protect their brand. They're designed to help a consumer identify the origin of a product or service, so they know exactly what they're spending their money on. Think of it like a seal of quality. For instance, if you see that iconic Disney logo on something, the one that looks like a signature with the D that kind of looks like a G, you know immediately that this is a product that's created and approved by the Walt Disney Company. That isn't just some knockoff. But the big twist here for trademarks is that they don't expire. As long as someone is using their trademark, submits the proper paperwork to renew them, and defends the trademark against anyone trying to use them, then they keep that trademark forever. And trademarks can cover a huge variety of things, including names, words, phrases, logos, symbols, designs, but also things that you wouldn't expect like colors, smells, sounds. And you best believe that companies are trying to take advantage of that as much as they can. If you look up the word Superman on the United States Patent and Trademark Office database, you'll be given a ton of results showing that DC Comics owns the trademark for Superman, spelled this way, in just about everything you can imagine. Most of it makes sense, like comic magazines, books concerning memorabilia, motion pictures and television programs, toy doll figures, etc. But they also grabbed it for things like lunchboxes, toothbrushes, towels and blankets, advertising, and candy. Remember, that means that they're the only ones who can release comics and books and movies and toys just labeled as Superman.